When it comes to your spiritual growth and development and you're advancing your knowledge, one thing that a lot of people miss out, which you need to start doing, is actually grounding your knowledge into reality. And what I mean by this is too many people run with a fantasy based mindset. And although that is good and very, very useful in a lot of cases, and I myself utilize that mindset, you also need to be able to ground your knowledge into reality to make it useful and viable. Anything what is given to you on the spiritual and conscious planes, no matter how far it seems out of the physical plane, there will be a construct or method that will be able to be brought into the physical plane, where you will be able to then utilize that information and be able to execute that information. Because a lot of people forget that the spiritual, conscious, and physical planes are all fully entwined into one, which means they all connect and fit into one, which means they are one, they are not separate. So if anything is happening on this plane, it should be able to fit into this plane when you trickle down and you are open up and you take in the information. Anything what spirit is giving you, they will give you in a way what provides you stability with it. They may drip feed information bit by bit so you can consume it in bite-sized chunks, all right? But you will be able to, by the end of them teaching you a topic or giving you an insight, be able to integrate that into your life. You will be able to integrate the information into a way that is understandable. So even though we keep this fun and we utilize imagination to activate intention and use that, right, you also need to have practicality. You also need to have action with it. You need to understand the avenues around that. Because what happens when we don't ground the information in gradually, right, is that we run with delusion and half a story. And that's what a lot of people are doing, and that's why people feel there's not much credibility in terms of things, because they're running with an illusion, they're running with half a bit of information, they're running with delusion in aspects, some people straight up in the spiritual community. And you could argue that and say openness towards the journey and going with the flow is all great, but then if you're then teaching these topics or you are bringing any development to other people, but you cannot ground the information into reality to pass it forward to the people who are asking you to hold that space and hold that environment of knowledge, that becomes then a trickle of confusion. People run with more confusion. So even though there is magic and there is the fantasy side of it where it's inspiring and it's breathtaking, also at the same time it is still reality. It is still happening in reality, and you will be able to ground that and bring that through to reality. And if you're not able to explain something as of yet, you still need to dive deep in it. You still need to connect with that process or that situation, that chunk of knowledge, till you can then start integrating it. And yeah, not all things are easily understood as of yet, but once you start feeling the information and allowing the information to expand, in that expansion, that's where the extra insights which were being missed out or you forgot to learn or take into account are. And when you then have that, watch how different your energy is when you are passing forward the things what you learn, because you are sure, you have a full explanation, you have a full practice, you have the experience of being able to talk about it firsthand, because it's not something which is in aspect a fantasy. It's not got the grounded links to it. Do you know, it's viable and what you are explaining is partly right, but there's not the practical solidified information to go along with that. So when you have this up here, start to anchor in your spiritual understandings, your conscious understandings. It's valuable.